You know what we need to do is stop filming these at midnight.
It's our only time.
It's our only
See
time.
Elsie's head right there in the camera shot.
Can you? Where? Oh, her little headphones.
Cute little girl. Welcome back to R&R Time with Ruben and RyLee, where we chat about marriage, parenting, and have a weekly vent session.
Welcome. We're doing another midnight episode, and you know, these have got to stop. But for now,
It's our only time.
it's our only time. And actually, we set this up kind of I want to say like an hour ago, at least an hour and a half ago. And then our 3-year-old woke up. So it's just kind of what we're working with right now.
She's cute. She is so cute. But
She's so cute. We tried laying by her, and now I'm like feeling super tired because I was laying by her, and it just didn't work. She was ready to party.
you roll with it.
We're rolling with the punches. All right, Ruben, you want to start us off with a little sweet and salty? And listen, I said last time I was going to have pretzels and chocolate chips, and I sure did. However, we've been here for like an hour.
Oh, my.
I was trying to show the camera.
Okay,
We've been
a
here.
few chocolate chips left.
We've been here for an
Couple
hour.
pretzels, but salty and sweet. I think
Yes.
you should start.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sweet. Let's start with sweet. This last week, I had a Galentine's party with some friends, and it was super fun. We did a tea party, and so we all dressed up. We all had our little dresses on, and we got our hair done. I mean, by ourselves. We didn't like go get it done. Anyways, we had a little adult tea party. And it was so fun. My friend Shayla put it on, and she is such a good host. She actually used to be an event coordinator, so she went all out on the decor, and we played a funny
really
game where we were. The funny game that we played was like Guess This Bachelor, and they did AI photos of us and turned us into boys, and we had to guess who it was. And we were hot. Like, I was really hot. Anyways, I was about to text my brothers and be like, I'm hotter than you.
See what our
I make it better, boy.
Our boy would have looked like. I mean,
He would have been so cute.
right?
So cute.
I have to try again.
Nope, never gonna happen. Anyways, that was a sweet thing for my week. And you know what I learned? Okay, I'm so excited because I drink like herbal tea and stuff periodically, especially when like that throat coat tea I like a lot when we're sick. I feel like it helps a lot. But I learned that I've been doing it wrong. Like there's a way to make it.
What do you mean wrong?
Like when you do, there's a couple different ways you can do your tea, but I was just adding a little bit of honey and that's it. But you're supposed to add, like say you add your sugar or your honey, and then you add a little lemon in it, and it's so good. Like I just was prepping it
just
wrong.
The lemon.
Yeah,
You're
it's
just
just
missing
the lemon. Or you can add milk or cream or something like milk with it, which I haven't tried yet. But if you add the milk, you can't add the lemon because the lemon with the milk will curdle.
Oh, interesting.
So you can either do milk or you can do lemon and your sugar cube. But since I'm not doing a sugar cube, you can do like honey and lemon.
But they taste different then.
It tastes
It's like a different drink.
I feel like it tastes better.
With lemon or milk?
With the lemon. I didn't try the milk, but with the lemon, it was good. So anyways, I was excited about that because I bought some of the ones that we tried from the party. I'm excited to have my little calm down herbal tea at night. Anyways, it was really yummy.
So
and that
your
was super
sweet?
fun. Yeah, it was fun to be with my friends.
My salty was...
No, sweet.
I
Sweet.
said mine go together.
Yeah, but you start with sweet.
Well, the sweet doesn't make sense unless I talk about the salty.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes the salty makes the sweet sweeter. It's too late. But you get what I'm saying?
Tired, yeah. You're tired. Okay.
I am tired, but that makes sense.
It does
Would
make
you look at me
sense.
like that was dumb?
I don't think it has to go in any certain order, but...
Then do the sweet. You're the one who said it had salty had to go
mine
first.
does. No, it doesn't have to. You don't have... I can do whatever order I want.
Okay.
Jeez. My salty was we had the last week. This was pretty public with lots of people, the community, especially in Utah. We had, I don't know, how would you say, what's our relationship? A family friend had a son, 19 years old, pass away of cancer. And so I guess that's my salty is
Yeah, and he had cancer. He's been dealing with that 5 years.
4 years. 4 years. So the salty is that cancer sucks. I've got
Yeah.
quite a few family members, cousins, aunts, that have passed away from cancer. And so that's very, very salty thing for me and for my family. And obviously this individual is not necessarily family, but a son of some good family friends of ours. And we didn't really know. His name is Afu Fiafia. You've probably, lots of people have probably seen his posts. I don't know who's watching this, but he had cancer, got cancer when he was 15 years old, was diagnosed with cancer and was fighting it for the last 4 years, and he had moments where we were like, man, he is going to make it. Right. And his family was really public with his progress. Like they posted often about how Afu was doing and the treatments that he was going through and how active he was in trying to beat this. And one of the tender mercies in his story is that he was able to be in remission for his senior season of football and was able to play football with his younger brother and just have a good season, and
he even was offered by a college too.
Yeah. And so that was, so anyways, the salty is that unfortunately last week he did pass away and cancer sucks. That's the salty part. Mm-hmm. The sweet part of it all though was being able to see so much love and, an increase in faith in so many people because of Afu and the life that he led. And there was something that his football team, their Instagram page, I don't know who was behind it or whatever, but they shared a quote by President Russell M. Nelson where he said, "The only way to take sorrow out of death is to take love out of life." Right? And then they said, and we have such deep sorrow because we loved Afu so much, and he lived his life so hard and so full of he lived his life so fully that his death, it was so deep. The sorrow of his death was so deep with so many people, even us that didn't really know Afu that well, but knew his family. Like we were saddened by it, just knowing that and just being so invested in his story, and seeing that he had passed away, that. So anyways, the sweet that came out of that was, I feel like the love and the faith that his family has shown through all of this was such, a builder of faith in myself and in so many people, right? Just seeing that they were able to be so positive through all of this, that was very sweet to me. And I had the opportunity to go to his program, his funeral program, not the full funeral, but I got to attend that last week, Friday, and just being able to hear his siblings speak, was so touching, mm-hmm. And being able to hear them talk about what a great brother Afu was. Like it made me just think like, man, siblings are the best, and older siblings, ones that truly have an impact, because he was one of the older siblings. He wasn't the oldest, but he was one of the older siblings. Just the impact that he had on his younger siblings was touching. And it made me think about my own children. Like I thought like, man, this is why I wanted a son, because Afu was deemed as like someone that was protective of his younger siblings. And I was like, man, I always wanted a son because I wanted someone that would be protective of my other children, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't have a son, but we have Livy. It did make me tear up because Livy is also protective.
She is protective. Yeah. If someone says my friend, if Emily comes home in tears or something, Livy's like, who did it?
Yeah.
Like, tell me their name.
It does, and it just made me so grateful for my own children and the relationship they have with each other. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but a lot of good feelings, a lot of sad feelings this last week, but also a lot of love.
I just want to say too about Afu, like, I feel like it impacted me almost more than I realized too. Like, I've been in tears like off and on about Afu, and I don't think he even knows who I am. you know, but I remember him when he was a little boy and had his dreadlocks and stuff. That's when we first met him.
Yep.
But I think, you know what really impacted me, and I know it had with other people following his story, is, man, Afu's strength. So he left a legacy, man. That kid was only 19 years old, which also just makes me feel so sad that he was only 19. But the impact he had in those short years he had was powerful.
It was
like,
huge. Yeah.
One of the most inspiring things to me was him trying to go to the gym. Like, he was going to the gym like a couple weeks ago.
I mean, this is someone that had chemo and was still going to the gym.
Was going through radiation treatments and was showing up for the gym. And not only that, like, all their diet, like the diets that his family would do with him, and like everything just in the name of like health, and his mom's motto, which was fight as if we're going to beat it, live as if we don't. Yeah. I think was his mom's motto. Like, They lived life to the fullest throughout all of it. And as I've been trying different things for my just chronic health issues, honestly, like, it seems so minimal, but like little things that I'm doing to try to be like healthy, I honestly think about Afu, and I'm like, Afu did it. Like, I can try to like cut out all these different foods and exercise and try to get my gut as healthy as possible to try to help my health issues. And, it was just very inspiring to me, the way that he lived his life, but also just how his family rallied and supported him and then did it with him, walked through it with him. Yeah. I just was super touched by all of it, and the legacy that he's left and impacted. I feel like I will be coming back to throughout my life, Yeah.
And, one of the other things I was thinking about when you're talking about how he lived his life, to the fullest, their family is probably one of the biggest examples of family vacationing that I've ever seen on Instagram. Like, they do a lot together. His
personal family.
His personal family. Yeah. And we just talked about vacations last episode, and how important experiences are, and they are the perfect example of that.
Yeah. Like, they went to Mexico a few weeks ago.
Right. They spent time as a family, and they realized that those experiences were something that, that would last with them, and so I feel like they're a perfect example of what we just talked about last week, how, vacations can be are priceless.
Yeah.
And so anyways, yeah.
Well, love you, Fia family. We're thinking of you guys, and you guys inspire us always. The whole family, the whole extended family, all of them.
Yeah. And you know what, man, thinking about a lot of things, just truly grateful that they shared their journey, Yeah. That they shared the whole entire journey for the last 4 years with us and with thousands of other people. And, everybody that followed Afu's journey were truly just blessed, honestly. Like, we all really feel like we were benefited from being able to follow his progress, and
yeah, what a cool thing that social media can be, right? Yeah. You can touch people that you've never met before, Yeah. Like I'm sure he had an inkling of his impact, but he probably didn't even know the extent of it, Mm-hmm. Of just showing up, the extent of showing up. You know what? This actually, okay, I don't even know if I should say my salty after that. because it seems so dumb.
That's why I told you to go first.
But anyways, my salty was just, we were pretty sick this last week. And the kids were sick and Ruben was out of town. So that was hard on me, just trying to deal with all of that. And then the other salty is like, this podcast has honestly been difficult. It's been really hard to figure it all out and be like a two-man show. I spent a lot of time editing this last one because I was like, sweet, the video quality is a little bit better. I'll do a little bit more like transition and close up to our faces and things like that. And then because of the amount of editing, it wouldn't download. And as we were doing that, the whole thing ended up getting deleted. And I had probably spent, meanwhile, solo parenting in between my tiny ounce of time here and there, because we do have a toddler who doesn't sleep. I probably spent like 5 hours editing that stupid thing. And then it all got deleted the night before we were supposed to post. And I had to re-edit the whole thing throughout the night. I pulled like an all-nighter and then did a rough edit. It wasn't as good as the first one. But it does kind of scare me about this one because I'm like, what's going to happen? Like, should I spend the time? Is it even worth spending the time? I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know if I have the right software to edit like this because it's not downloading. It's like the file's too big, all the things.
Yeah, well, you're just using an app on your phone.
I'm just using an app on my phone. Like
a legit program to do this. But
yeah, so we're learning.
Again,
the learning curve is hard.
We are learning this thing still.
The learning curve is hard and it's a lot of work and time. But you know what? Like, I do feel like we have something to share. I do. I feel like this is a great podcast. And maybe that's just me tooting my own horn. But
we are great people to listen
we
to.
are amazing. So. This is the best podcast ever. No, but really, I kind of feel like we're also called to do this a bit. So, Ruben, I'm being serious right now.
I think you're called to do this. I truly believe that. I do.
I truly believe you're called to do this with me. So
I believe I'm called to support you in this. Yes.
I really do. I feel like
break off on your own.
But like the amount of times just this last week I've wanted to quit. Oh, sorry. The amount of times that just this last week I'm like, is it worth it? Has gone in my head. Even tonight, I'm like, okay, forget it. Like, this is so hard. But we're
doing it because I set up these lights already and they took me forever.
We set up the lights. We're doing it. And I just think, you know what?
You're getting what you get. So.
You learn as you continue working at stuff, you know? So, anyways, that was my salty. But transitioning from that, okay, we're going to go into our next segment. That is, wait, that's interesting. Hey, good job.
I didn't put anything there, did you?
Did I not? No, but that's okay. I'm going to share something. That kind of feeds into what we're talking to today, okay? All
right.
And it also kind of relates to AFU. So that's why I was like, should I just skip my salty? Because this is kind of transitioning really well. Okay, so there was a talk by Annette Dennis, and Annette Dennis gave this talk, and she mentioned a 100-year-old man named Orville Rogers, okay? Well, Orville Rogers decided to enter a USA Masters Track and Field National Championship competition, and this was a competition for seniors, but he was 100 years old. Okay. So in this track competition, they did a variety of events and Orville Rogers finished in last place for every event. Okay. So on surface, it looks like he did pretty poorly. He was the last one to finish. Okay. So maybe he looked last, but what people maybe weren't aware of is that day he ended up breaking 5 world records. Even though he looked like he was in dead last always, people maybe didn't factor in his degree of difficulty. And so what that meant is because of his age, they placed him in 100+ age division. So he was technically in a different age division than a lot of other people, and which led to him breaking 5 world records because his degree of difficulty was greater than the other competitors. Okay. So in this talk, she talks about how we all have a different degree of difficulty, that depending on our life circumstances or depending on our day or depending on whatever we're going through, our degree of difficulty varies. Okay. So at different times in our lives, our degree of difficulty is higher than others. So for example, maybe just last week was harder than this week for me because my degree of difficulty was higher because I had less support in what I was doing that week. Okay. Or there are moments when we are sick. Okay. So take Afu, for example. His degree of difficulty to go to the gym was extremely high, and he still did it. So maybe, and I don't even know because he was still very strong, but maybe his weight limit wasn't as high as maybe that of his healthy brothers. I don't know, but just an example. But his degree of difficulty was higher. So maybe what he was accomplishing was far greater, right?
Right.
Even just showing up.
Right.
Right? Okay. So in life, we all have this different degree of difficulty. And I saw another video, and I just wanted to point out too, like when I've mentioned videos on here or quotes that we see on social media, you know how there's that like reshare button?
Yeah.
For this podcast, for the RyLee and Ruben Instagram page, I reshare all of those. So anything I talk about here that I saw on social media, they're all there. So if you're like, hey, I like that idea that they shared in their podcast, you can go and find that video inside of that reshare button. So that reshare for RyLee and Ruben is full of like motivational things and inspiring videos. But that being said, this is one of them. So one of the videos I saw was this girl who was driving, and she was saying she was getting a little annoyed at this car because it was driving slow, and she was getting annoyed. And then she noticed the driver in training sticker, and she realized, oh, this is like somebody learning how to drive. And she was thus more sympathetic towards that driver and gave them more grace. Okay. Then she goes on to say in this video, I kind of wish we had bumper stickers for life. I kind of wish it was, because it said, I think the bumper sticker said like, sorry, student driver or something. It said like, sorry. So she's like, what if our bumper sticker in life is like, sorry, my husband's out of town. Sorry, I have 5 kids. Sorry, I'm dealing with a chronic illness. Sorry, my dad just passed away. Sorry, like life experiences. If you knew what somebody was going through, you would give them more grace because you have a glimmer of their degree of difficulty being higher. Yep. Right?
Yep.
And she was like, I kind of wish we knew that. I kind of wish we had that idea, because she said, I'm going to be so honest. When I saw that car, I was annoyed. I was frustrated. I was getting annoyed that they were making my day worse in some small way. But then when I understood what they were going through, that they were learning or that they were going through something, I gave them grace, right?
Yeah.
So the point is in my whole like, whoa, that's interesting moment is it if we knew each other's degree of difficulty, we would be better cheerleaders of each other. 100%.
Be more kind. Be more understanding.
More kind, more understanding, more just like inspired by people showing up. Yeah. Like literally a year ago when I was really struggling, me getting out of bed to take care of my toddler was a huge accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
You know, my degree of difficulty in that time was higher than my degree of difficulty, say, today.
Yeah.
You know, and that varies day by day, that maybe hour by hour may, you know, whatever it is, that can vary for people. And we don't know what people are going through. But if we can choose to like realize that everyone has a different degree of difficulty, I think we would handle humans with a little more care.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've probably seen it. There's a video that was put out by the Cleveland Clinic, which is a huge national clinic.
Yeah, I think about that often. I actually had that in my mind.
You had that in your mind? Where it shows different people in the hospital, and then next to them, it talks about what they're going through. And I can't remember all the different examples, but the idea is the same thing. Like, if you knew what someone was going through, you'd be a lot kinder, right? Like, if you knew the person that was being rude to you, right, wherever that setting is, if you knew that person was going through, maybe they had a mom in the hospital, or something tragic happened, and if you knew that what they were going through, you'd be a lot more sympathetic towards them, and not try to lash back out to them. But and I've shared that video a lot with my employees too, at work, and talking about how the way we treat our patients and their families, right? Like, we get patients that are mean all the time, and if you're taking it personal, then you're going to hate your life, right? But if you realize that this patient was just in the hospital for weeks.
Yeah, so their degree of difficulty is higher.
Right. And they're in the hospital for weeks, and they're here now, and they're grumpy, and they're mad at you for changing them wrong or giving them the wrong food, right?
They just want to go home. They're done.
Go home. We can't take it personal. We just got to realize that these people have gone through things, and it's okay that they're...
And they may have low support. They may have lack of family members coming to visit them while they're struggling. Like, there's just so many variables, right?
Yeah.
She needs help. I actually think about that video often, because what I think about is when we were in Primary Children's Hospital with Ruby, that video always came to my mind, because we were in Primary Children's Hospital. Our daughter was life flighted, and we were there for a few weeks. And every time I passed people, I knew that they were going through something. Every time we passed somebody in the hospital, I pictured that video. It was just that I was like, that is literally what we're going through. Like, people have their own kids in the rooms. Primary Children's Hospital was very familiar to a lot of people while we were there, and everybody had a story. And I thought of that video. I went back to that video often, and it kind of revisits in my brain. And then the interesting thing was after we left Primary Children's Hospital, it was the most surreal thing, because that was like the hardest up until that point, that was like the hardest thing of our lives, right? Like, we almost lost our child. She coded. It was really scary. She had to be resuscitated a few times. And when I remember leaving Primary Children's Hospital. I remember going to Walmart, and I remember I looked probably really ragged. Like, I had just lived at Primary Children's Hospital. And I remember going into Walmart, and not that anyone thought anything, but in my mind, I thought they could be judging me. They could be thinking, wow, she looks really rough. Like, why, like, she doesn't take care of herself, Right. They could think those things. But little did they know that I had just gotten back from Primary Children's Hospital, where my child was life flighted and coded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you go through a big event that's heavy, you think the world should stop. And it keeps going, and it feels a little unfair that, like, it just keeps moving, And I thought about that video, like the one you just shared, and we'll share it on Instagram. But I thought about it all the time when we were in Primary Children's Hospital, because that was a weird thing, like, coming out of such a life-changing event, to be like, wait, everyone's just living their lives right now? Like, I was just in a hospital for weeks, Yeah. So... anyways, so yes, everyone's degree of difficulty varies, and it's different. And we should give each other more grace, because we don't know each other's degree of difficulty. But I thought that was kind of cool about the story of Orville. He broke 5 world records and came in last place
you need to
in
figure
every
out
event.
what world records those were.
I will. You know what?
Jeez,
I will.
do your research, man. Okay.
Dude, I just shared the talk. I don't think the talk says exactly what world records, just that he did. So... So,
All right.
wow. That's interesting. Wow. That's
was
interesting. All right. That's it.
Okay. Next part of our segment. Review time.
No, it's not this segment. It's a new one.
New segment.
Oh.
Review time. So you put on the agenda.
Yeah, it's a new segment. So we need more reviews so we can do this segment every week.
This review was by my sister. So.
Shh. You don't have to tell people that.
Thank you, Nano. We love you.
Read it.
Oh. Nano Sionisani says, love R&R. They're open about their relationships, the struggles they've been through, and everyday ups and downs. It's comforting and relatable. Definitely one of my favorite podcasts.
What do you have to say so cheesy? Anyways, thank you, Nano, for your review. And this is your time to go and leave us a review. Hit 5 stars. Hit that follow button. Show your support because the podcast doesn't know you support it unless you do those things. So do it.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Show us some love. Give us some feedback.
Show us the love. We are on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's a lot of work to post on all those platforms. So show us some love.
I don't do it, so not for me.
I'm very tired. Just kidding.
All right. Now what? What are we going to next?
All right. Today we wanted to share about confidence. That is our topic today, confidence. And the reason why is because last podcast, we kind of touched on the paradox between confidence and humility. Okay. And you said we could do a whole episode on this. And I thought, you know what? Let's do it. So today we want to share about confidence. We want to talk about how, maybe we've gained confidence and how we're trying to raise confident kids.
Man.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Do you feel like you're a confident person?
At times, yes.
No, overall. I mean, we all have insecurities, but overall, would you say you're a confident person?
Yeah. Mostly.
You are. You're also humble. Okay, here's my question, okay?
Am I a confident
Where
person?
do you think that confidence comes from? Where do you think the confidence comes from?
Life.
No, dude. Like, actually, come on, man.
No, what? That's the answer. That's an answer.
Yeah, but I don't want general.
The life I have lived.
I don't want general. I want to know was there something your parents did to help you become a confident person?
Not really.
You got nothing?
I'm thinking about, I think because I was born second and I was a brother to 6 other children, that helped.
You're not a brother to 6 children. You're a brother to 7.
Older brother, older sibling. I think being an older sibling helped with my confidence, like being put in the position where I had to help with my younger children, my younger siblings. Oh my gosh. I think naturally, through the experience of being an older sibling, I gained some confidence just through having to, help be an older sibling, and all the duties that come along with that, right? Like being told that I need to be the example for my younger siblings, right? That's like an older sibling thing, like that your parents, and I say that to Livy all the time, and Emily and Ruby, right? Like I tell Livy, like you are an example. Your younger siblings look up to you and they follow what you do. They want to do what you do. And that's something that my parents have told me all the time when I was younger. Like I was the first one to go on a mission. I was the first one to go to college and graduate from college. Like just the pressure of that, knowing that I needed to be an example. Like that experience itself, I think helped develop my confidence.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking like that could also be heavy to have to carry that. Mind you, I'm the 5th kid of 6. So I am a younger sibling. So that's different in that regard.
It's definitely heavy.
But I just feel like that's a lot of responsibility.
I agree. It was.
But you feel like it helped give you confidence and competence.
I think having to do it, like going through it and doing it, like gave me confidence, you know? Like I was proud.
Like in what ways did that give you confidence? Just that you did it. Like you're
yeah, and like getting praise from my parents saying, like being proud of me for going on a mission, for being proud of me for going to college, you know, finding out. Like my parents didn't go to college, so I had to figure that out. You know, I had to figure out like, how do I apply? What scholarships I need? Like,
yeah,
my parents couldn't help me because they had no idea. Like,
yeah, you had to kind of.
They didn't like push me to do that. You know,
well, you know what? I will say your parents have always taken the time, like, because again, like we kind of grew up together. We started dating when we were like 16. So I was in a lot of those circles where your parents, even though they didn't go to college, they always emphasize the importance of education.
Right.
They always emphasize the importance of taking advantage of opportunities, that maybe that's why they work so hard to be here in the United States.
Yep.
Like, even though maybe they couldn't help you figure out the how.
Right, the details.
The how, they instilled that it was important.
Yeah. I agree.
Like they took the opportunity to always emphasize this matters and this is why we work so hard for you.
And that was even more pressure, right? It's like, okay, my dad wakes up so early every morning, goes to work every day, never complains.
Doesn't call off sick.
Doesn't call off. Like just, and same thing with my mom. Like my mom was always worked doing something, you know? And that pressure of like, okay, I can't let this be for nothing. Right?
Yeah.
Like they're here working hard for 8 children, to raise 8 kids, to develop, you know, to make sure that we have an opportunity to do something and to be successful. Right. So that's pressure, but that also helped build my confidence. Like the experience of having pressure on you, I feel like builds confidence. So.
Yeah, and I would say competence. Competence is huge, and I feel like that goes with it because
leads to confidence.
Yeah, competence leads to confidence, and you had to figure all of that out. That's a lot to have to like. Okay, but how did you like figure? Do you just feel like? How did you figure that out? Did you just like know you were smart enough to make it work, like to figure it out, or? I'm just wondering where that comes from. To feel capable of figuring it out. Truly, especially when you didn't have parents in that way who kind of knew the route to guide you in that way. I'm just wondering, like,
I didn't feel confident.
Like, did you have confidence in like, I could figure it out? Yeah. Or did you just?
No, I just
tried.
Had to.
You just tried, which gained you competence and confidence.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I had confidence to know how to do it. Like I was kind of just forced to figure it out. Like right, like I didn't necessarily have the confidence to do it, but the fact that I was able to figure it out and do it after that.
Do you want to watch a movie now? Okay, go sit back down.
I feel like the confidence came after the fact, after I had done it and realized that I could do it, right? Like it's not that I had the confidence to figure it out. I just had to figure it out. And when I did, it's like, okay, I can do this.
So like experiences of accomplishing something helped you 100%. Gain confidence because then you rely on it. You're like, okay, let me go back to that. Remember that time I did that? Well, I can do that again. Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about my parents and ways that they helped me gain confidence. And my story is different than yours. I'm the 5th of 6 kids, so I'm one of the younger ones. And it comes down to a few things I want to say. First, I feel like my parents didn't treat us all the same. And I think that was a good thing. I was thinking about how they treated us differently because we were different. We had different skills. We had different capabilities. We had different weaknesses. And so because of that, we had to be treated differently. And what I mean by that is like maybe a discipline for one child is different than a discipline for another. Maybe praising for something for one child is different than praising for another. For example, maybe me getting a B in math was super celebrated because math was a struggle for me, versus like another kid who got a B in math where for them it was a lesser grade than that they were capable of. So maybe my parents would have been like, you know what, you could have stepped it up to that child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we were treated slightly differently because we are different people. And that's something I take with me in my kids and raising our kids. I feel like I do have to approach things differently because they're so different. Like, yes, we have 5 daughters. They're all girls, but they're very different in personality. They're very different in how they handle things. Every single soccer game, we have evidence of this. The way we talk to our oldest kid versus our second about the game is completely different, because it has to be, because they're so different in their approach, right?
Yeah.
So I think confidence comes in that my parents kind of really tailored their parenting to us. It was a little more unique. And I feel like that helped me gain confidence and competence in what I was doing because they saw that and they acknowledged those strengths as well as acknowledging those weaknesses and encouraged me to like work hard and celebrate the wins in that way.
Yeah.
Does that even make sense?
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about is I was thinking about confidence comes truly from knowing my worth, and knowing that I'm a child of God truly gives me confidence in who I am and my potential. And not only does it do that for me, is it helps me to see that in other people. Like, I feel like it helps me be an overall better person because I know my worth and it's not dependent on external circumstances or accomplishments. It is dependent on me simply being. And I think that's powerful. Like, if we can instill in our kids where their worth comes from, and it comes from literally just existing and nothing that they accomplish as their foundation, they will gain confidence. If they have that foundational like belief, they will gain confidence because it now no longer, it takes the pressure off of success. It no longer depends on what they accomplish, and instead is dependent on just who they are and their individual worth and divinity. And I feel like that has something that like that core belief has been something I've went back to over and over again. And maybe like we all have insecurities, don't get me wrong, but maybe at times when that insecurity starts creeping in, I go back to that foundational belief that I am divine and a daughter of God. And because of that, I have worth at my core. And that has carried me through a lot of things. And I wanted to talk about this subject too, because this is one that like a lot of people have asked me about, particularly with all of my health issues. In that too, it's like, it's changed the way I've appeared, and people are like, well, how have you remained so confident and just like shown up every day? Because I just show up on Instagram as I am, and I can be very ratchet. They would ask me like, how are you so confident in just like who you are? And don't get me wrong, I have insecurities. I look in the mirror sometimes and I don't recognize myself, right? Like, I have my insecurities. I have insecurities of my skin flakes on my clothes, and I feel dirty, and I feel like I don't show up looking nice in the way I want to sometimes because of my health issues. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like that core belief is what like has sustained me to be able to show up as I am. And also just like the knowledge of like, other people are struggling too. And I feel like people appreciate the authenticity of you showing up, and there's power in that. And not only that, is like, I'm raising 5 daughters. Like, it's my goal to show up as I am every single day. Like, it is my goal to show up even if I don't look or feel my best. That is my goal, because at the end of the day, I want my daughters to know their worth doesn't come from how they look. Like, and the reason I focus on looks is because my looks have changed a lot throughout this journey. And because of that, like, I have had a tendencies to say negative things about myself, which I also really appreciate you for, like, always putting a stop to that. And you've always, even from a very young age of, like, our oldest daughter, have said, hey, like, she's listening, which I really appreciate, because I feel like I'm actually really good at not doing that in front of my girls. And to the extent where, like, I'm not only not in front of them, but, like, overall, I'm pretty good at it now. But that has come with practice. It's come with intentional practice to be positive. And I feel like your inner voice becomes your outer language. And so you really have to have a positive inner voice, which then radiates confidence. And I was thinking about how our oldest now, she's entering into those preteen years.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when you become very aware of how you look, and maybe acne or whatever else appears on your face, right? You become a little more conscious about that. And not only girls, boys too.
Yeah.
Everybody. But we were on this trip not too long ago, and she had a bump on her head. I think it was a mosquito bite, but, like, she rubbed it and it, like, got bigger. And she was so self-conscious about it. She kept walking around with her hand over her head. And I put a stop to that immediately. I was like, listen, like, do you think it's easy for me to show up every day the way that I look? Sometimes it's not, but you do it anyway. You show up, and you show up with confidence, and you try to just accept and appreciate who you are in the state that you're in. And I feel like that conversation was actually really good for her, because she no longer did that and people didn't care. I think we become so worried about small things, and truly most people aren't judging us the way we think they are.
And we sometimes think that we are the center of everyone's
right. And and truly, like, in your adolescent brain, that's, like, part of their adolescent brain, is they think everybody's looking at them.
Yeah.
But, like, even as adults, we feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. I think we actually do a really good job at talking about this a lot with our children, about being positive about ourselves. And particularly, right, you have sometimes said things about yourself, like, in front of the girls, and our girls are really good at building you up.
Yeah.
Like, even if, you say something about how the way you're dressed or what you're wearing or whatever, or how you look or your skin or whatever, like, our girls, they hear that and they're like, Mom, no, you look so beautiful.
I know. I will say they're, like, our biggest cheerleaders, and it makes me proud of, like, what we've done. I feel like it makes me proud of the conversations, all the many, many conversations that we have had. So then when those moments do come up, they recognize it and they cheer us on.
Yeah.
Like, and it's more like, like, I just don't feel like I look very good today. Like, I just wish I could, like, fix my hair or have it down, or, like, wear nicer clothes or whatever it is. Right. And especially our oldest, but all of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like they'll be like, Mom, you look so pretty. You look so good today. And it just, like, warms my heart. And also I'm like, okay, but also the inverse of, like, what I just said is, like, also their outer voice is their inner language. And I hope it is. I hope they are saying those things to themselves, because insecurities will creep in. That just is what happens in life. I think raising confident kids and being confident doesn't mean you don't have insecurities.
Right.
Right? It means you have that, like, foundational belief of what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
And you separate that. That thought comes in and you think, nope, this is what's true, and that's actually not. and like
Yeah.
understanding that and separating that.
Yeah. So I feel like this was a lot of confidence in like your self-worth, confidence in who you are. Um, we talked a little bit about sports, and our kids and the way we talk to them when, I mean, we just had a big tournament this last weekend, and I don't know, I think we can go into another episode on kids sports and the
Oh,
benefits of that too.
100%.
But
I feel like we do need to, but talk about that. Talk about the conversation we just had.
we had a soccer tournament this last weekend, and both of our girls' teams did extremely well. They won all their games up until the championship game, and honestly, I was telling Riley right before the championship game, like, man, this is one of the easy. It seems like one of the easiest tournaments we've been in, like, and our girls were definitely both their teams were expected to win their championship games. Livy was playing the other team in her age group of the same club. So just for some context, there's Livy's a 2014. So all the girls were born in 2014, and they have three levels. There's a top team, there's a middle team, and there's a bottom team. Livy's on this middle team, and they're playing the bottom team basically in the championship game of this tournament. And so we're thinking, just a couple weeks ago, they beat them like 10-0 in a scrimmage, right? Like we're like, okay, they should win this game.
Yeah.
Right. Emily's team, they're playing a team in the championship game that had tied a team that Emily's team had beaten like 6-0. Right. So they're like, okay, if it was a good game between those two teams, like we should also be able to beat this team 6-0 or at least something, So we're thinking this is going to be an easy championship game. Like, and I think they had that in their minds too. And maybe we were wrong and I don't think we
said that out loud.
Said that out
No.
loud.
But I think maybe they had that in their minds. Yeah.
Right. And I'm all about sports. I love a good underdog story. But this was different because we were not the underdog in these games. Like we were the team that was expected to win. And we were playing an underdog team. And both of our girls lost their championship games. They both lost to the underdog.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't my daughters, I'd be like, that is awesome. Like the underdog
right.
was not expected to win this.
Well, and mind you, with our older daughter's story, we're friends with a lot of those people on that other team. We're friends with a lot of those people. We're friends with the parents. Livy used to be on that team. And so we know the coach very well. We're friends with them. But obviously in this situation, we're expected to and hoping to win. And that just wasn't the outcome. And so even her very best friends on that team. And so I felt like she handled it extremely well, as well as her friend handled it extremely well. That in and of itself, I thought was a really cool thing, is that they held each other. It was the sweetest moment. Their arms were around each other saying good job at the end of the game. One was super excited and the other one was super sad. And they kind of just quietly walked together to go get their medals.
Yeah.
And it was actually really cool. It almost makes me emotional because they handled it with such maturity that like they understood that the other one was feeling a certain way. One was feeling really happy. And for our daughter, she was feeling really sad. And they didn't really talk much. They said, good job. But like they just kind of sat with each other, knowing each other's emotions were different, but like respecting those emotions,
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really cool story. That was just kind of a side note. But just for some context, like Livy had this internal battle because those were her friends and she's like happy for them, but she was devastated, right?
Right. And especially that they were expected to win and did not, And anyways, the point that I was getting to is sports are a great way to build confidence. Like the experience of losing a game like that is humbling, extremely humbling. But I feel like that humility that comes from losing those games also, and we're not done with the story yet, right? Like there's still they're still working and they're still like, okay, we're going to come back next time and we're going to do better and learn that we can't have high heads in their next game. Like that experience of going through this and then eventually building up to hopefully beating them the next time around, like that builds confidence.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that, and I just love kids sports for that. Like giving you an opportunity to learn these lessons in a safe way, right?
So I felt like the most important thing about this game, though, was our conversation with Livy afterwards. And because obviously her emotions were high, she was devastated. And she kept saying things like, oh, we're the lower team now, and we played poorly, and she was upset, right? And we acknowledged that, like, it's good to be upset. That's okay to be upset and know you should have done better. But at the end of the day, it's about what you can do and what you did do, right? And I was proud of her performance. Livy went out there, she did her best, and that's all you can do. You know, you can only control so much, right? And so our conversation was more so like, you show up and you work hard and you can be proud of what you did, even though you can't control the end result. And this is something that I go back to all the time in parenting, right? Like for me, and I feel like this stems back to a lot of my child development classes too, is that we praise the process, not the product. We praise the effort, not the end result. So if a kid comes up to you and they're like, Mom, look at my art. And we're just like, oh, good job. It doesn't do as much as, oh, wow, you spent a lot of time on that. Oh, wow, I could see you focused and worked really hard. When you praise their effort, the impact it has on them is far greater, right? And so our conversation with Livy looked a little more like, but how did you feel you did, right? And that was our conversation with Emily. It was, how did you feel you did? Well, I worked hard. I tried my best. Okay, you worked hard. You tried your best. You can be frustrated. You can be mad about, maybe as a whole, we didn't step up and do and perform our best. However, if you did your best, you can be confident in the work that you showed up to do, right?
Yeah.
And if you didn't, if the answer is no, I didn't do my best, then what does that tell you? It tells you, okay, I know I can do better. So I'm going to do better next time, right? Which I think also leads to confidence. It's good to acknowledge the fact that you can improve, and not shy away from that. That's a good thing to acknowledge. You know what? I actually did, like Emily was like, okay, I actually didn't show up at first, but then I did. Okay, good. You learn from that, and then you did start showing up. Now, next time, maybe let's show up right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's step it up right at first. And then our job as parents is to try to focus more on their effort, their work ethic, the way they show up. And then at the end of the day, those are life skills that they take with them throughout everything that they do. Right? And like what you're saying, that's what I love about sports. It was making me think, I thought about this reel from Eileen Gu. Is that how you say her name? She's like my new favorite person, but she's like that Olympic skier for China. And she grew up in the United States, but she's competing for China, and she's won so many medals. But she's just really amazing. She's really eloquent in her speech. She goes to Stanford, I want to say. She's an extremely smart model athlete, but she talked about how sports is such a great way to teach your kids confidence and to build confidence. And the reason why is because when you're competing in a sport, at the end of the day, if you were working hard at practice, if you put in the time, if, like all the practices, all the trainings, all the things, that. So then when the event shows up, you can go back to, I can do this because I've done it before. Yeah. I can do this because I worked for this. I can do this because I put in time for this. I can do this because I trust myself, because I've tested myself time and time again. And that's basically what she was saying. Like a sport is very telling because it shows maybe the event, you just see the event and you're not seeing all the work that was put into it. But as an athlete, you know, like our girls go to practice like every day, right? Like they're putting in time, they're putting in work. And at the end of the day, I don't care if they go to college playing a sport. I don't care if they become professional athletes, but I do care that they learn these skills that they're developing through sports and this positive self-talk and carry that with them throughout their lives.
Yeah. They're learning how to work hard. They're learning, what I told Livy after she had lost the game, she's learning how to deal with disappointment. Mm-hmm. Like she was very disappointed. And the fact that she's able to have this experience as a 11-year-old and Emily as a 9-year-old, right? Like these are safe places in sports. These are safe places to learn these type of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are kids that go through real disappointment in life. Like they have hard lives. Right. And they have to learn it the hard way, right? Mm-hmm. The beauty of sports and anything that you have to work hard for, like whether it be art or music or whatever it is, like the beauty of these things that you have to work really hard for is you learn a lot of life skills, without having to go through like actual traumatic events. Right. Life is the best teacher. Like life experiences are the best teacher, and having those experiences in children's sports and whatever you put your children in, like these are opportunities to learn these things in a safe area.
Yeah, and that and the fruits of your labor, right, produces confidence. Like I like that you mentioned arts and you mentioned other things other than sports, because it's like anything you have to work at, right? Like Livy doing piano. Like when she first starts learning a piece, she's mad, she's frustrated, it's slow. And then she practices every single day and she can see results and she knows it's because she put in the time. Yeah. Yep. And that's why the end result is good. We also had a performance where she didn't put in the time. And it felt pretty sucky to go up and perform a piano piece that she didn't put in time. She
messed up multiple times.
It was embarrassing.
And we asked, well, did you work for it? Did you practice? And she admitted, no, she did not. She did not put in the effort. And she learned from it, right?
But I will say, though, we actually also talked about her degree of difficulty that week.
That's true. Yeah. She had a lot going on.
Livy did that. So her performance wasn't great. She had more time in previous weeks where she should have done it. Don't get me wrong. However, her piece was more difficult than most that were performing that day. Also, she had so much going on and we were recovering from a trip. So she was catching up in school and in soccer and in projects and in all of these things. And her degree of difficulty that week was high. And she did work her little tushy off that entire week for that piano performance. And no, it wasn't perfect, but it was way better than it was the previous week. And I was proud of her work ethic, because maybe to other people, it looked kind of like a not very good piano performance. But to us, we knew her degree of difficulty was high, and she did pretty well for her degree of difficulty in that moment. And we had to remind her of that. But also learn from the fact that if you did practice every day, even while we were out of town, it wouldn't have been so hard at the end, right?
But again, these are lessons. These are, like, I feel like every parent needs to put their child in something.
Yeah, something.
Like, I think it's important to give your child something that they need to work for. And practice and put in time and effort. And that's why I love sports. Like, sports is a great way to do that. And I love that our girls are in soccer
piano.
And dance and piano, but they teach you a lot, and I feel like that also helped me, if we're going back to how I gain confidence, like sports really helped me. So.
Yeah. And I think an important thing to remember, especially as parents, is to not play the comparison game. I don't think it's good. And sometimes we fall into that trap to compare our child's performance to another child's performance. whether that be in our home or outside of our home, because that can lead to lack of confidence. And so as we're talking about confidence, I think it's important to focus on themselves. So how did you feel you did, right? Don't focus on other people. Don't focus on, another competitor or someone else on your team or even your sister. Like, let's not play the comparison game. Let's think about ourselves and how we feel we did. And that's where confidence can flourish, is if we're focusing on ourselves in that moment. Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I also want to, I don't know why I keep saying that at the end of the day. That's annoying. Why do I keep saying that?
Well, think about that too, comparing to others. At what level is it actually beneficial though? I feel like sometimes
Okay.
it's
For
necessary.
example, Afu going to the gym, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
I feel like that's different than what I'm saying. Does that make sense? You can compare in that, you can be inspired by people, but I think you need to be careful of the comparison trap of you're trying to beat somebody else, because I don't think that's necessarily the objective. I think the objective is to improve and get better. Even in sports, I think the objective, yes, your end goal is to maybe win or beat another team.
Right.
But you can only control so much. And that's what we come back to, is you can only control how you play. Yes, it's a team sport, which means the end result is a team result, right? Mm-hmm. Some sports are individual, but that being said, you don't know everybody else's training. They might be putting in more work or whatever, but I don't know. Am I contradicting myself there?
No, and I think that's one of the things that we did tell Livy is it is a team sport, and you may think that there are people on your team that could have been played better. Truthfully, we thought there were probably girls on Livy's team that did not play their best.
Yeah.
And we were disappointed, and Livy was disappointed in maybe how they performed, even if she was confident in the way that she performed. But at the same time, you can't compare and say, they didn't play well, so that's why we lost. You need to.
You win as a team, you lose as a team.
You lose as a team, but when it all comes down to it, like you said, you can only control yourself and we told Livy, what could you have done better? You feel good about how you perform, but what could you have done better? You can't focus on anyone else. You can't think about what they could have done better.
Right.
You got to think about just yourself. What could you have done better? And we thought maybe she could have spoke up a little bit more as a leader on the team. She's a leader on the team, right? Maybe she could have helped encourage her teammates more vocally to do better, right? Or but putting the focus on herself and figuring out what she could do
to improve. I think as girls, it's easy to get in that comparison game. And so you need to be careful. And with us raising daughters in particular, I don't want my girls to look at their teammate as a competitor with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want it to be I'm sitting on the bench, so I have to be better than so-and-so to get playing time. I don't want them to make their teammate the enemy. What I want is my girls to say, okay, I'm sitting on the bench. What do I have to do to show my coach that I want this? Rather than making their teammate or someone they have to beat. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want them to play the comparison game in that sense. I want it to be more individually focused and okay, I need to, maybe I'm on the bench because I need to show up a little bit better. Okay, how do I do that? Right? Rather than oh, I need to be better than her. She's better than me or whatever. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't even know how long we've talked because we've had to stop with our daughter. Just to end, focus on process and work ethic rather than product. Have positive self-talk. Model that behavior for your children, right? Which also includes not comparing your kid to other kids, right? For good or for bad. Like, let's not put down another child for your kid to step up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think confidence comes when they are focusing on themselves. And that's not a prideful thing. I think that's a focus on what's in your control and let go of what's not type of thing. And I think inner confidence can come from that direction. And also just set up a motivational core belief of your divinity from simply being a human being.
Well, and even a sign of true confidence in our children is when they go and praise other kids, praise people that they could compare themselves to, but instead are praising them. And, I think that's a sign of confidence. And I feel like our girls do that.
Yeah. You know what else I think is a sign of confidence?
What?
It's how weird our kids act in public.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? Like, that takes some confidence to be that unhinged.
It does. And we've told them too, like.
No, but truthfully, can I just say about Elsie, our 3-year-old? Part of me looks at the chaos and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Another part of me is like, you know what? If she didn't feel that safe and confident, she wouldn't act like that.
It's true. Yeah, and I will say, like, as a kid, I was not like that. So I feel like our kids are more confident than I was. Like, just like you said, dancing weird in public.
Exactly. They're a bunch of little weirdos.
No, and we've told our kids that too. Like, just dance. Who cares if you're good? Like, if you're just be confident, and people will love being.
I said, the best dancers are the ones who are owning it. The ones who are having fun doing it.
And are still doing it.
And are just owning it.
Same with singing.
No, those ones are really bad.
No, but they're confident. Like,
like karaoke.
That's
and
actually,
to be fair, we need to work on that because we were the only couple who didn't karaoke when we went with friends.
Not confident.
No,
but that's actually one area I've never been confident. Like, even when I was a kid, like, we'd go to like family reunion dances and stuff, and I'd be too shy to even just.
I did sing Santa Baby once in front of the whole student body. That was my one and only solo. Never again. Sure, it was horrible.
So there's confidence in lots. There's all types of confidence.
Right. Sometimes you can have confidence in different areas. But I think if you can raise confident kids, you're setting them up to be confident adults, which will help carry them through some of the most difficult things in life. For example, everything I've gone through really did, in a way, shake my confidence. But I think at the end of the day, I had so much internal confidence that I was able to continue showing up every day. And I want that for my kids. Like, I want my kids to be confident kids so that they can be confident adults. So that when life is hard and can shake their confidence, they know at their core who they are and can continue showing up because of that belief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, I'm the most confident person. Just kidding.
Yeah, and I guess another random thought with confidence, though, is I feel like the way that our children and anyone treats other people shows your confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've heard sometimes of our kids have spoken about other kids who have maybe been mean or said mean things about other children, and we've also told them, like, that's a sign of a lack of confidence. Like, that's a sign of insecurity and lack of confidence. And when you are truly confident in yourself, you don't tear other people down, right?
Yep.
Like, you're kind. And
I also think that translate to sports again. To be a good sport, have sportsmanship is a sign of confidence as well. Like, even to the point where, like, if you're constantly, like, for example, even just fouling, if you're constantly fouling in the game, I told my kids, when you start doing that, it shows that you don't think you can beat a person. You're trying to grab them, pull them down. You're playing dirty because you lack the skills to beat them.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Right.
Don't play dirty. Don't grab them. Just do better.
Do better. Don't play lazy. If you're getting beat, Do better.
Do better.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I cut off a good thought?
No, that's it.
So those are our things on how we're trying to help raise confident kids. Let us know what you do to help raise confident kids. Give us some of your advice, your tips, and maybe we'll share them next time because I love this topic. I feel like it's
There's
huge.
a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
It's an important life skill. And we didn't even touch on humility, but I feel like there's a level of humility. But like what you said, like when they go and they treat other people kindly, that shows confidence, like a humble confidence, like the right kind of confidence.
Yeah.
And I want that for my kids, and I hope we model that behavior as well. So let us know what you guys do. If you have any tips on how to raise confident kids, we'd love to hear them. All right, that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us for R&R Time with Ruben and RyLee. See you next time.
Bye.